Okay, the clock is running. We've got 39 minutes, and my talk came in when I timed it in the room at like 46, so I'm going to have to talk really fast. If anyone's here from Mark Dawson, you're in the wrong room. You need to go down there. You've got 1 minute to leave. So this is Amazon A+ content for authors. My name's Anthony M. Strong. I'm not associated with Amazon, so don't blame them when I get it wrong. So first things first. What is A+ content? It is... Actually, let me ask, has anyone done A+ content on their page yet? Okay, we've got a few. So A+ content allows KDP authors like us to enhance their book sales pages. It used to only be available for the big guys like Stephen King and the traditional publishers and their own imprint and select really big authors like Mark Dawson. They have opened it up to everyone else now in the last, I think, 6 months. And so it's going to allow you to add some pop to your pages to really make them look professional, look good. And I would advise everyone to use it because every tool you can use to enhance your sales pages is good. So it appears below the main area on your page, below your product description in the From the Publisher section. And that will... if you scroll down the page, you'll see it there. On phones, it actually appears in a different place, or at least it did last time I looked. It appeared above your description of your book, so just keep that in mind. It appears in different places on different devices. And I've got some examples of A+ content. I did have more, but I cut some out because I didn't think we'd have time. So you can use it to promote your book. This guy here is actually from my series, and this is John Decker. I thought he looked more like me, but my wife said that's what he looked like, so that's what we used. So we can use, we use this to enhance our pages. We can give information about our books. We can use it as an extra sales tool. We can put the series down there like I did with this book to let people see the entire series. Now, you do also have that in your series bar above that as well, but you can also put other books in there, things that you won't show up in there, like your prequel. And we can also use it. This one actually has links to other books. So this is there's only one module that allows you to put the links in. And this one actually allowed me to show both of my books and then put the links in to take it over to another book. And that's really useful, again, if you've got a prequel or something like that you want to advertise. Amazon does not show that in the series page. Well, actually, it shows it on the series page, but it doesn't show it in the series bar on your sales page at the moment. So that's a good... Oh, what happened there? Oh. I have lost this. What's going on? Okay. All right. I have no idea what happened there. I think my computer tried to go to sleep on me. I'm that boring. So, getting back to it. So, like I was saying, you can put links into some of your books on this particular module. We're going to go over the modules later. This is a Stephen King one. He used it to advertise his new release, which is out now, but it wasn't at the time. He also used it to put blurbs in from other authors and other publications, and then he had an older backlist one that he was advertising with it. This is a fairly popular author that writes crime fiction. She used it to show the covers for all her books. She also used one of the text modules to list all of her books in order. Again, this is also in your series page, but you can put it here too. And why use A+ content? Well, it provides additional details about your book or your series, and you can let readers know about a prequel, a new release. You can provide additional background on yourself as the author. Now, that probably works better if you're non-fiction. I think most people writing fiction, the readers really want the books more than knowing a ton of information about the author, and there is an author bio page where they can get that anyway. So that works very well for non-fiction, especially if you've got If you've got qualifications you want to get across to them and there isn't enough room in the author bio page, you can let readers know about a different book or series that isn't available within the main series page. You can give insight into the characters in your book. This is probably good for urban fantasy, those kind of books. And you for social proof, put your editorial reviews in there. Now, the caveat with that is it does have to be people that Amazon recognize. So publications like the New York Times or a well-known author. What you can't do is copy and paste your, just take your Amazon reviews and stick those in there. They won't allow that. And you may get away with it through the bot, but then, of course, if someone live looks at it, then they will probably take that information down. You can tout your achievements like New York Times bestseller if you have that, or USA Today, and any major awards that you win. You can also make your book sales pages look more professional, which is the main reason to use it. Anything you can do to enhance your sales is worth doing. And then to get to the A+ content, to add it, you have to go to your Kindle Direct Publishing dashboard. And there's a tab, it's the fourth tab along, it's called Marketing. If you hit that tab, it will take you to the main marketing page, and about 3/4 of the way down is the A+ content tab. So you want to go down to that, and you want to choose your marketplace. And when you choose your marketplace, it will give you all of the available marketplaces, .com, .co.uk, .com.au, .car. You want to choose the one that you sell the most in, because this is your primary marketplace. For most people, that's probably .com. So you want to go ahead and select that on the drop-down, and then it's going to take you to the content manager. And as you can see on this one, I've already got several ads running here. And up at the top right, there is Start Creating A+ Content. So if you click on that, it will take you to the A+ content page where you can start building your A+ content. And the first thing you want to do is name the content. You're going to do it for each individual book or series that you want to create content for. And I would advise you to pick a name that you recognize, because if you've got 50 books and you call it book 1, book 2, book 3, you'll have no idea 10 months down the road what you've done. So pick something, name it the book, name it the series, however you want to do that, so that you know and you recognize it later. And then it's going to, once you've named it and you've accepted that, then you can start adding modules. And there are 17 modules that Amazon let you use. There are more, but they're on what they call enhanced A+ content, and those are only available to big retailers who pay, so they're not available to authors. So we get 17 modules, and when you click Add Module, it will take you to a pop-up that gives you the 17 modules, and you can select them. And each one does different things, and a lot of them do the same thing different ways. But you can only add 5 of them into a page, into one of your sales pages. So we're going to go over just very quickly the modules later. I'm not going to linger on them because we don't have time, but you can add up to 5 modules, and you can add 5 of the same module if you want. They don't care how you add them up. It just has to be 5 or less modules. So once you've chose your module, they are very self-explanatory. The basic ones that most authors appear to be using that I've seen are the standard image, dark text or light text overlay, which is a banner. And the only difference between those two is that Amazon gives you a text overlay that you can add on to them, and it will put text on the banner for you. Now, I don't use that text because it looks horrendous, and you can't format it, you can't move it, and it may be good for keywording. I haven't really tested that. They say that you can get some benefit from keywording for it, but I tend to put the graphics directly, the text and the graphics all together rather than using the overlay. The other one that a lot of people use is the 3 images and text module, and that one allows you to put 3 square images on, and you can use that to put social proof in, if you've got blurbs, things like that. You can also put little slug lines about characters or events in the book, anything that you think could enhance the sale of the book. So this is one that I was creating. As you can see, I put the text directly on the graphic. It gives you an area to upload the graphic. You upload it, and then it puts it in. and it gives you the option to put the text in. If you ignore that text, that box won't show up, so you'll just see the graphic. If you type anything in there, it will show up on that banner. So just be aware of that. And it's something that Amazon, in their official documentation, say that they want all text to be added in those boxes, but I ignored that, and I'm doing just fine, and I haven't seen anyone else using those boxes either. So my advice is just do it, and if at some point they decide it's a no-no, I'm sure they'll let us know. So I also added the standard 3 images and text onto this particular one, and I don't have James Patterson blurbing me, so I couldn't put anything in there. So I chose some pieces of text that highlighted the reasons, or that highlighted the events in the book and the reasons why I wanted people to buy the book, what I thought would get them interested, and I put those in. I created all these graphics in Photoshop, by the way. You have to create them outside of the A+ content system, and so I just created them in Photoshop, and they give you the size for all the graphics, so there's no worries with that. When you go in, it will give you pixel dimensions for each one. Just stick to those dimensions. And then I put another banner at the bottom just to round it out. And so again, I put the book cover or the book with both formats in there in a 3D representation, and I used that and I rounded that out for 3 modules. I didn't go too far with 5 because I didn't really have a lot else to say, so I didn't put anything else on there. And then once you've done that, the next thing you need to do is add asins to your book. Now, the thing with the asins is that when I first did it, I thought parent asin meant that once I put the asin for the Kindle version in, that it would put the content on all the other versions of the book. It didn't. So what I had to do was I had to go in and put asins in for each version of the book, and on the print versions, you can use the ISBN 10 for the asin. The one that I had problems with was the audio book, because it was through Audible. They told me that that wasn't part of my brand, so I couldn't put A+ content on it. So you can do print books. It appears you can do anything that's done through Kindle Direct Publishing, but if it's something that comes through Audible, or if it's something that comes from Ingram Spark, they're probably going to tell you that they can't confirm that it's your brand, and they probably won't let you do it. So just keep that in mind, and you do need to put those ASINs or ISBNs on for each version of the book to get it to show up there. And if you want to put something on a whole series, if you don't want to create the A+ content for the entire series book by book by book, you can add all the ASINs for your entire series in there, and then whatever ASINs you put in, it will show up under. So once you've done that, you're going to submit it for approval, and the first one that I submitted for approval, it took about 24 hours to approve. And this was back when they first brought this out. And then every other one I've done has taken about 6 minutes. So I don't know whether they were looking at it closer the first time and then they said, all right, well, he knows what he's doing, so we'll approve it, or whether they were just swamped at first, and then as I added more, the rush had slowed down, and so they were a lot quicker. But so it could take, they say it will take up to, I think, 72 hours to approve. Most of mine were taking about 1.5 minutes. So I was kind of pleased with that. And then, did that move? Yes, okay. So that was the finished page with the content that I'd created. And you can edit this at any time. You just return to it, click edit, and it will allow you to edit it. You can add more modules in. You can take modules out, put different ones in. Whatever you want to do with that, they'll let you edit that. And then you also have to place it on each individual marketplace, because they don't do that for you. And you can copy your stuff over onto the different marketplaces. And the first thing you have to do is switch marketplace. So you go up here, you go to switch marketplace at the top of the content manager, and it will give you that drop down again, and you can choose another marketplace. If you choose a marketplace like, say, Germany, they won't put English content on that, or at least they won't copy it over to that for you. So I'm just sticking to the English marketplaces because I don't speak German and I don't want to have to write stuff in German. So I'm sticking to the English marketplaces, And so I've selected another marketplace, and then when you first go in, unless you've actually manually put stuff in, there won't be anything there. You have to click Show Auto-Created Content. And what Amazon's done is they've copied all that content over that you created on your primary marketplace, and it's in there in draft version. So then what you have to do is you click on each of them. It will actually, as you can see, the top two say draft. You click on the, say, the Patterson Blake prequel here, and then it will take you into that, and you can click Edit. And you don't really need to do anything unless you want to change it for the different marketplace. You can just click all the way through all of those different steps to get that to approval, submit for approval, and then you can go back in, change to another marketplace, and keep doing that for all of your content, and it will very quickly add it all up. It's just a bit time-consuming and a little bit repetitive because you have to do it in every single marketplace for every single piece of A+ content you create for your books. So, as I said, you're going to you see the edit up there, you click edit, you follow through with that, and then it's going to put your A+ content on. Once it's approved, it can take anywhere up to a few hours, in my experience, to actually show up on the Amazon page. And when it does, it looks pretty good. And, you know, you look just like Stephen King and Bardocci and all the other big guys. And so the next thing is that, like I said, you've got 17 available modules. Now, I'm not going to go through all of these and tell you exactly what they all do because we've got 23 minutes left and there's 17 modules. But just very quickly, you've got your standard company logo. That's literally just a graphic. It's smaller than the banner graphic. So if you use that, it will be slightly compressed. It's not going to go all the way across. You've got the standard comparison chart. That one is the one that I was using to put my books in and then get links to other books on Amazon. And the reason you can do that is because it's for comparing products. So I'm sure you've seen it when you've looked at computers or other things. They'll have comparison charts showing you the benefits of different models. That's what that's supposed to be for, but it does work very well to link to other books. So if you've got a prequel and you want to link to that prequel, go ahead, put that in there. What you'll want to do, though, is make sure you use the right graphic size. And it will tell you that graphic size, but it is not the size of a Kindle book front cover. So if you put the Kindle cover in there, it will crop it, and you'll end up with a very long, thin graphic with bits of your cover cut off on each side. So what I do is I go into Photoshop, I create the right size graphic, and then I put the cover sized in the middle of that with just a white bar at the top and bottom, and that way it shows the whole cover. So you can go ahead and do that, and then it will ask you for your ASIN, and it will allow you to put in your book name, and it will want at least one product comparison in there. So all I do for that is I just, like I said, I use the book name. I just do the series name for the comparison bar, and then I put the book name under each one, and that satisfies it. So the next, oh, I think I missed two, didn't I? I did. So you've also got the standard 4-image and text. And again, that's the same kind of thing as the standard 3-image and text. You can put 4 images in there. They're square, and you can put text underneath if you want to. You don't have to. But if you've got 4 blurbs, you can put all 4 of those blurbs in there, and that will satisfy that. You've got the standard 4-image text quadrant, which is the same thing, only they do it in 4 instead of doing it across. And then you've got the standard image dark text overlay and standard image light text overlay. They are exactly the same thing, and if you're not using the text overlay, you can just put the graphics in there. It doesn't matter which of those you use. The only difference is that one of them puts a black background on the text, the other one puts a white background on the text. They're both opaque, so you kind of see the text through it, but it looks absolutely horrendous. So I never use that, and I just put my wording directly on the graphic. They're the ones that most of the authors are using, like the Stephen King one I showed you earlier. That was the standard text overlay, the banner here, and they just did the same thing as me. They just put their graphics right into their wording right into the graphics. You've got the standard image header with text. I kind of think that's cool, but I haven't figured out a way to use it for anything. It's basically literally just an image header with a bunch of text that you can type underneath. It might work if you want to put more information about yourself as an author, like I said, especially if you're non-fiction. But as a fiction author, I really don't want to put bunches of heavy text into the A+ content. I just want a very graphic, quick. Oh, it's done it again. I guess I'm on a... If I talk too long, apparently this turns off. Yeah. This didn't do this when I tried it in the room. And it's eating up our time. So, moving on, then we've got the standard product description text. Again, that's just text. We've got the standard single image and highlights, and the standard single image and sidebar, and the standard single image and special detail. They're all kind of the same thing. They're just an image with a bunch of text, whether you want bullet points or whatever else you want after that. You can put that in there. And I've seen some authors use that for putting in information about their books and things like that. But again, keep in mind that if you use that on mobile devices, on some mobile devices, it comes up above your product description. So it could get confusing if people go in and they see a picture of the book and a bunch of stuff that doesn't make sense because it's not the description of the book. So just keep that in mind. And then the last 5 are the standard single left image, right image, and those are the same thing, just flipped. It's a picture with text next to it. The standard technical specifications, I can't imagine anyone's going to use that unless they're writing an aircraft manual or something like that. Standard text is literally just a text box. That's all it is. And then your standard 3 images and text, and that's the one that I've been using to put in my little boxes. I ignore all the text stuff because, again, I'm not really big on putting text into the A+ content. And then to make your images, keep in mind that each module uses a specific image size, and they will tell you that when you go into the module, and it will give you those pixel dimensions. It doesn't matter what DPI you use because pixel dimensions are just pixel dimensions, so just size it to that and use that for each one. And each and here it is. Like I said, each module will tell you the pixel size. These squares are 220 by 220. So if you just make it that size, it will work perfectly. And to actually create the graphics, there are several ways to do it. You can make it yourself if you're proficient in Photoshop. And some people are, some people aren't. So if you're not sure whether you can do that, if you don't have the confidence to make your own graphics, there's Fiverr, which is very cheap, and you can find designers on there that will do it for you. Or you can either hire a graphic designer, or you can use one that you already work with. Now, there are things they don't let you put in A+ content. So you can't put any customer reviews in that aren't from well-known sources. So you can't put in anything from Uncle Joe, no matter how great he thinks your book is. But if Stephen King blurbs it, stick that in there, like I said. You can't put any sale information, price information, anything like that. They don't want you promoting flash sales or Kindle countdown deals or anything else in there. That's a big no-no. And they don't want any text or image that you don't have permission to use, so don't just take stuff off the internet. It's all got to be stuff that you can use. Stock photography is fine as long as you purchase the stock photo. No boastful claims about yourself or your books. So if you're not a best-selling author, i.e. you don't have a New York Times bestseller, don't put that in there because they'll take your content down. I don't know whether you could put Amazon best-selling author, but everyone's been one of those at some point because we've all been top of a category. So that's probably not worth putting in anyway. But basically, no boastful claims. Don't say stuff in there that feels too much like self-promotion unless it's actually true. If you are a New York Times best-selling author, then put it in. No outside links or copy encouraging people to leave Amazon. So don't put anything in there telling people to buy it on Kobo. Don't repeat information that you've already got elsewhere on your sales page. So they don't want you just putting your book cover in there. A 3D version of it is fine, but they don't want you just sticking your book cover in there exactly the same as it is up top. And they don't want you to put your description in that you've already got in there. It's supposed to enhance what you've already got not just repeat stuff you've already got on that page. And the big thing is make sure you read Amazon's full content guidelines, because they've got a bunch of them up there. They're easy to find, and it will give you all the information on what you can and can't do on A+. Some of it you can probably ignore and get away with, like where they say that you can't embed text in graphics. Other things like basically putting sale information up there, or limited time only, or stuff like that, they will catch that and will not let you proceed with that stuff. So things to keep in mind: A+ content appears before your book description on some mobile devices, like I said. So make sure your content's clear and relevant, and that you don't confuse people browsing on phones or tablets. Amazon want you to add all overlaid text, like I said, on images. We've already gone through that. You don't need to. They don't appear to be enforcing that, and all the big boys do it anyway, so I figure if they're doing it, we're okay. Make sure to put great keywords on your images. Amazon actually has keyword sections for all of these content areas, and they require you to put the keywords in. I haven't quite figured out, because they don't tell you exactly what they want for keywords, so I'm just using keywords the same as I would for any other area, and I figure they might help with search placement on Amazon. They might not. I have no idea, but that gets you past it. I haven't really seen any other use for the keywords, and they don't explain it very well in their content guidelines. And just remember that Amazon is the A+ Amazon content is a sales tool, so whatever you put in there should look professional. You know, it doesn't do you any good if you do a really bad pixelated graphic and use 18 fonts and 44 colors, because it's not going to sell the book, and that's the whole point of it, is to sell the book. And I actually rushed through this much quicker than I should have done, because I thought that we were going to run out of time, and we've still got about 12 minutes left. So my slideshow, I did put it up on my website. It's available for download there if you want to go and get that. I've actually got two websites. It's on the anthonymstrong.com website, and it's under slides. And I will leave that up there probably for at least a month or two, so you've got plenty of time. If for any reason you can't download it, just email me on the website, and I will just send it to you in email, or however you want to receive that. So, yeah, we actually got done a lot quicker than I thought we would. So, questions? And now if the computer turns off, I don't care.
Thank you for that. So since you've made the updates to your books, have you seen a change in terms of your sales from a baseline?
Oh, that's a good question. Have I seen any change in sales numbers since putting A+ content on? Honestly, not yet. I don't know whether people just don't browse down that far. I'm assuming I've done such a good job with the blurb that they never get that far. But no, I really haven't seen any change in sales figures. But the way I look at it is that it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. So I would say do it anyway, because anything you can do to promote your book is good. And you may get people, like I said, that go down there, see that prequel or that other piece of related content. If you're building a very large world, you want that stuff down there, because they can't find it anywhere else on that sales page. So put it there, and you might get some cross-pollination over to another series, over to a prequel, over to something else like that.
I just wanted to mention that if you have BookBrush, they actually have it in A+ content.
Oh, yes, they do, yeah. They actually, we were at the NINC conference, and they actually mentioned that, and I didn't know whether they brought it in yet, but yes, BookBrush do have an A+ content creator, and you can go on there and do it through there. I probably should have put it on the slide, but yes, you can do it through BookBrush as well. Any more questions? Yeah, I think they want you to use that just for the video.
Even though we can't hear here, it is going to internet. I don't know why it's out, but
Okay. I was just wondering, what was the learning curve for you? Did you feel until you got to where it felt more comfortable?
Well, I had an advantage in that before I was an author, I was a graphic designer for like 25 years, and I worked in publishing newspapers and magazines, and I've been using Photoshop since 1995. So I kind of had an advantage there, But I would say that the learning curve of making the graphics is probably a lot harder than the learning curve of putting them on Amazon. They do a good job of describing exactly what each module does and what you can and can't do. And if you get it wrong, they'll tell you right there, you can't do this, and they won't let you proceed until you fill in all the stuff that they want. And then if there's something they don't like, I did see in a forum, one of the Amazon forums, where people were getting rejected for stuff on the A+ content, but I haven't had that experience, mainly because I was terrified of being rejected, so I read everything 10 times, and I made sure that I didn't put anything in there that I didn't think they'd like. But the learning curve's not that bad for A+ content. It's the graphics and making that stuff is probably a worse learning curve. Anyone else?
You mentioned that you weren't sure if you'd seen any benefit, but is there data that shows that there is sort of a general benefit somewhere? What is it? Why is Amazon doing this, I guess, is kind of...
Well, the A+ content really isn't designed specifically for authors. It was brought in originally for big companies that were selling on Amazon. You know, if you're, say, a computer company like Dell and you want to sell computers on Amazon, it was brought in to give those people more information to put about their product because there wasn't a space to do that in the general description. So if there is data about whether it's working for authors, I haven't seen it. I think it's still fairly new for most authors, so I don't think there's a lot out there where anyone's really sure how it's affecting the sales yet. But like I said, it's better to have it because it's there. You might as well use it.
Just as a point of reference, my wife had three series of kids' books that she's been applying A+ content to one by one for 6 books and 3 books, and instantly saw little bumps in sell-through.
Okay.
With the little books, you know, little links to the other books down.
Yeah, and again, those links to the other books are really valuable. That's probably the biggest reason to use it.
Yeah, it wasn't dramatic, but
yeah,
but she's like, oh wow, look at this.
Yeah, and any bump you can get is worth it. Anyone else? Paul, got a question? Oh, okay. I'll answer it again. Okay, well, if we don't have any more questions, I guess school's out early. Thank you.